Welcome back to another great episode of Secured Out Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Danny Caballero, and today I am proud to bring you Gage Hull, an American who is a proud author, a student, a avid lover of the outdoor and all things that are Stoke. And his new endeavor is Stoke Therapy, bringing veterans and first responders into the great outdoors to experience healing in a more holistic way. Gage, thank you for being here today. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super stoked to be here and kind of talk about what we got going on. So thanks for bringing me on.
Absolutely, man. I got to tell you, the thing that caught my eye about you is just your what I like to think of the old American way of living. Like you have such a wonderful background. Like you're not just a veteran, you're not just a service member. You are somebody that once, like as I described, sucked the marrow out of life. Like you were traveling, living out of your van, you were being outdoors. You've done so much in a short period of time. And I don't think it does justice to just summarize it. So please give us an intro to everything you've done, because I think more veterans and just anybody out there that's struggling in life can take a page out of your book and realize that life's happening right now. It doesn't happen after retirement. It doesn't happen after your 30s and 40s. If you don't start living, it's going to pass you by.
Yeah, that's keeping the fact that our life has a time limit, the clock is always running. That's like one of the kind of central tenets of how I want to live my life, and that's kind of what I try and convey with Stoke, right? Because the time is going to pass no matter what you choose to do with it. Whether you're curled up in a ball at home, just sitting on Instagram, doom scrolling, or you're hitting the waves trying, you know what I mean? You don't have to be the best surfer in the world. You don't have to kick ass at rock climbing. Just try and have a good time, and you're gonna, it's gonna be better than just living in your comfort zone and never going out.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So, summary, my life, the events that kind of propelled me in this direction. That's what you want me to go for.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Tell us the true, authentic story of Gage.
Yeah, sick for sure. So just want to start out by saying, I typically don't really talk about my military service with people. I only really ever bring that up, or like stuff on the job. I'm a firefighter now. I only really bring that up so that way people can identify me as somebody who's kind of been in the trenches with them or where they're at, and I know what they're going through. I've been through similar things. So I just like to put that disclaimer out there because I've had people kind of give me kickback in the past, like, why would you do that? Why, you know what I mean? Like, so, but that being said, regardless, so grew up in New England, moved back here recently. It's pretty much where I've lived my entire life for the most part. Joined the Army at 17. I joined as a combat photographer, and I think I had a pretty sick career. It was super unique. I was very passionate and motivated about my job, so I got picked up to support a lot of cool different units, and kind of go outside of the lines and do a lot of unique things. Like a lot of the missions I went on, I was totally by myself. Just totally allowed to freedom of movement, just do what I believed was, needed to be done to accomplish a mission. So I'm super thankful. Got to travel a lot. Got to build a lot of really solid relationships with guys just out in the force getting shit done. I supported SEALs, combat controllers, Air Force guys. Most of the time I was with SF teams. So I really got to go out there and get a pretty wide variety of experiences and missions. But, like anybody who deploys and goes down range, on two of the deployments that I went on, I kind of brought stuff home with me that was messing with me, right? Stuff I had to work on and kind of resolve to get past. And so when I hit the year window before my transition out to civilian life, I kind of started forcing myself to have the conversation of like, all right, dude, what's next? Do you want to make the Army your career, or do you want to see what else is out there? I got injured a few times, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall as to where the organization was going. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a stab at it. I'm gonna get out now while the getting's good.
Yeah.
So 2020, honorably discharged, and bought a van, put a bed in the back. It's right there, and just kind of traveled around. Lived in Utah, going to college. Got my bachelor's degree there in a year and a half at Southern Utah University. The whole time I was out there, just rock climbing, scuba diving, you name it, just going out and doing it. Um, and part of why I hit those sports so hard and kind of made that one of my focuses, like if I wasn't working, because I was a bartender for money, if I wasn't in class, I was climbing, I was hiking, I was doing something, right? And I hit those so hard because that was my therapy. I was in the middle of nowhere, Utah. I knew no one. I had no family, nothing, and it kind of forced myself to take that solo time to really have hard conversations and ask myself questions that would like lead to growth.
Yeah.
Um, and part of where Stoke came from is like while I was in that place, I was struggling quite a bit. And I did reach out to VAs. I reached out to vet centers, and it was just like pretty much non-existent. I could not get help. And I don't want to paint the picture of like I'm anti-VA because you know there are good VAs out there. There are good people who are helping.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It's such a huge organization. That's the
yeah,
thing. Like it's not perfect by any means, and I've experienced great care, but then I've also experienced really shitty care.
right,
But
right,
it's not. It's just a giant organization, and I
yeah,
understand 100% where you're coming from. It's what we got. It's what we got.
yeah, better than nothing.
Yeah,
Like I reached out. They said the soonest they could schedule me for like behavioral health care was 3 months ahead of time.
yeah,
So waited, showed up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we forgot about your appointment. Sorry, dude." And I was like, "Sick, man. Thanks. Love it."
yeah,
So, I'll circle back to that a little bit later, but I kind of reinforced the point of like, I think a lot of the change that needs to happen in the vet community has to come from within.
100%.
Because who better to lead that charge than us?
Yeah,
Nobody's coming. It's up to us. But anyway, worked on my bachelor's degree in outdoor recreation management. I didn't really have a career goal in mind. I just knew I wanted to work in the outdoors and like kind of just went at it 100%. Um, and while I was out there, I did a 6 month internship managing a rock climbing gym in Las Vegas. And just kind of while I was out there, I brought it all together. I was like, all right, I want to help people. I want to be outdoors. And I essentially want to get paid to do these things that I love while sharing them with other people. How can I do that? So I kind of, Stoke was born out of that, right? Because I can
yeah,
take these skills I've acquired and teach them to people and kind of, not only have a profession that's going to pay my bills, but also help these people who absolutely need it. So I think it's the best of all worlds as far as I'm concerned with like the direction of my life. I think it is the best thing that I could possibly do, and it's a service people need. um,
yeah.
so that's essentially where I'm at now. I finished my bachelor's degree, and then I got a call from my hometown fire department, and they were like, hey, we'll give you a job, come home. And I was like, you know what, you want to pay me a decent amount of money every year to work 2 days a week, I'm there, man. So I came home. Uh, so now I do, I work on the fire department while I run Stoke, and I'm in school for military clinical psychology. So
Nice.
um, that's kind of the macro view of my life and where I'm at right now. Um, and that's pretty much what led me here. In in there, I became a scuba diving instructor. Taught a lot of people how to climb, a lot of people how to surf, just a little bit of everything. So now I'm trying to bring that to everybody in Stoke. Um,
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting because New England, the environment is so dynamic. Like we get all 4 seasons hardcore. So like I can only take people diving, 4 months of the year. I can only take people surfing 6 months. So it's always shifting. But I think people need it everywhere in the country, so I'm going to do my best to take it everywhere that people feel the need to reach out.
yeah.
So,
I think that there's a beauty to it because you have you put yourself through all this training, gather all these skills, and now you can essentially what you're providing is connection, not only connection through the human factor of teaching, coaching somebody to do something, but you're giving them an understanding of how important it is to connect with the outside world. And we lose that. Veterans lose that a lot. There's very few, and there is longtime hunters, longtime outdoorsmen that never disconnect from that hobby, from that passion. But there is a vast majority of our veterans that go back to the urban life. They go back to living and staying indoors, making their world a very disconnected existence. You wake up and you do the same routine with the same scenario every single day, and you're not connected outside. I would argue that one of the best things you can do wherever you are, wake up early, embrace being up early. Like, and I get it. Like, it's not a very hip thing to say and tell people, but wake up early, grab a bag, grab a backpack, put water in it, put some food in it, put it in your car. Now drive your car somewhere near woods, park it, get out and walk and
Right.
walk and walk. And when you're a little tired, you stop, drink water, eat some food, and then walk some more, and make that part of your daily life. And why is that so important? Because you need to embrace the outdoors. You need to be out in the sun. You need to be able to get vitamin D. You need to be able to realize there's a bigger world out there, that you are still part of it. You're still connected to it. And some people hear that and they think it's a simplistic, reduced ideology, but it's not. It's powerful. Even if you start with just walking your dog outside, get out
100%.
of your home, get out of your apartment, reconnect with nature. And that's something that it needs to be talked about. And we don't talk about it. We have commercials for friggin' cancer medication, weight loss medication, you name it, every single day. But we never have a service announcement that says, hey, pack a bag, get outside, and stay outside for an hour or two. Enjoy the sun, walk on the beach, just be outdoors, grab a camera, start doing something that gets you outside. And that's why I see Stoke Therapy as being so vital, and it can be such a success, is you're getting veterans or getting just any first responder too excited about reconnecting with other humans and doing something that's exhilarating. I can't think of something that's more thrilling than getting out there into the water, to the ocean, or getting up and climbing a rock, like just climbing a small mountain or bouldering. Like, dude, like that's great. And then with the immediate reaction, fuck, that's sick.
Yeah, dude. Like I literally just got done surfing about an hour ago, and like by all rights. So this is gonna tie into the mission statement of Stoke. So by all rights, I should have been either like miserable or just pissed off, right? So
Yeah.
waves were garbage. It was cloudy out, rainy. I caught like one wave out of the 2 or 3 hours I was out there. It was cold. Like all these reasons, right? I could have been a miserable bastard. But if I didn't go out there, if I didn't at least give it a shot, I would have missed how awesome that sunrise was. I would have
Yep.
not been in the cold water, giving me that therapeutic boost to my immunity and my mental health. I would have missed surfing next to a bottlenose dolphin who rose out of the water next to me. Like, it's out there, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, when they look at mental health, they try and come up with a lot of complex answers for what needs to be done,
Yep.
for how they can kind of improve their situation. And it's like, dude, it's you're making a mountain out of a molehill. It doesn't have to be all that. You can just go for a walk, like you're saying. You can just meet up with a group of buddies doing something that's healthy, not going to the bar, going to a climbing gym,
Yes.
spending time together, community. Um, and so the mission statement of Stoke is getting you stoked to be here. I don't know if it's bad that I'm using the name of the nonprofit in the mission
No,
statement.
I fucking
Whatever.
love it.
Uh, and what I mean by that is like, tie it back to this morning. I could have been miserable. I could have been mad. I could have been whatever. But instead, I was laughing. I was laughing. I was happy. I was
Yeah.
smiling the whole time. I was having a ball. And that's essentially what we try and convey to people and try and get them to experience outside of Stoke is just being, happy to be there. You don't
Yeah.
have to be the best surfer in the world. You don't have to be crushing it. As long as you show up and, you know, bad session or good session, you're still at the end of the day just happy to be here. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
three
dude.
things
It's
that we try and provide with Stoke, number one, we want to teach you these skills that you can take away from a session and do on your own if you need it, whenever you need it. You know what I mean? You have a bad day at work, like I can go do some yoga, or I can go fishing, or I can hit the climbing gym, something like that. So already you're getting some benefit out of that, because like with therapy, with counseling, with all that, essentially you're trying to get people to be independent and do this stuff for themselves and figure it out on their own. And with that, you almost kind of have to, I don't want to say trick people, but you have to walk them into hitting the target of like, all right, uh, having this realization is what's going to be good for me, or doing this thing is going to change my life. So that's what we try and do. Like going to the climbing gym at a Stoke session, beneath it all, that's you going to a support group. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You don't think it. You think you're just having fun with friends, but that's a support group. And I think I try and do this in a lot of ways, because a lot of things in the mental health, like umbrella, they get a really bad rep or a weird rep. Like when you think support group, you think AA, right? Something
Yeah.
like that, a bunch of dudes sitting in a circle. How about we try and flip the script, change that, and turn it into like, all right, man, I'm just going to go surf with my buddies, and that's going to get me through the week. That's going to make me happy to be here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we try and do that. And, you know, if nothing else, we try and just teach guys those skills so that way they can do that on their own. If they never show up to another Stoke session, they're good. They got that. The second thing we try and provide is that community aspect. Like I just said, it's kind of like you're going to a support group if you're coming together. Everybody at a Stoke event is a veteran or first responder. You know, we've all been there. We're all going through it day in and day out. Like, we're in the same trench you are, man. We're right next to you. So you're getting that out of it. Because from the research I've done and my own personal experience, like, you know, you get out of the military or you get home from the fire station or the police department or wherever. You get home, you take the uniform off. A lot of guys just still feel alone at the end of the day. Well, now
Absolutely.
you got a community, dude. You got us. If nothing else, you can come hang with us. Um, and beyond the weekly events, we try and host one event a week. Beyond that, once you show up to a Stoke event and we verify like you are who you say you are, you're added to a Stoke group chat on WhatsApp. And if you want to meet up at a climbing gym, you can go, "Hey, anybody want to go climb?" You know, you got a community now. It's like instantaneous. Here you go.
Yeah.
Um, and the final thing we try and offer is one-on-one sessions. That's going to be with me, and in the future, I'm going to train other people up to be like counselors or life coaches. Right now, it's just specifically going to be life coaches. You know, disclaimer: this is not therapy. We're not mental health professionals yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to provide you tools and resources that you can use to try and improve your quality of life. Um, like another conversation I think needs to be had with mental health is uh, and just life in general. Like if you go to a professional, somebody who's going to advise you or give you some kind of guidance or counseling, like you don't have to go see them if you have a problem. You can just go see them so they can try and improve what you have. You could already be the best dad in the world, but guess what? You could go see this guy who might give you something you never thought about or another way of doing something better. There's always a
Yeah.
way you can improve. So that's what we try and provide with our one-on-ones. It's like, you know, you don't have to be an alcoholic who's about to do something crazy. You could just be a guy who's like, all right, uh, you know, how do I communicate better with my kids? Or how do I talk to myself better or come up with like a self-love routine, something like that. You know what I mean? Um, so that, in a nutshell, that's what we're going for with Stoke. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Yeah. That's a great approach to it. And we tend to think that the barrier to entry when it comes to like feeling better about ourselves, living a better life is just, oh, I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the money to do that. It's like, dude, like it, it literally is as simple as just getting outdoors. It doesn't have to be this great dilemma of how do you solve it. And I think we get caught up in the idea that everything has to cost a ridiculous amount of money. and funds, and we have to raise, oh God, I can't do this, I can't do that. I'm like, dude, you can. You can't. We have to get over this idea that happiness equals money, or it equals having to spend a dollar amount. It's like, no, it doesn't. We have to just simply be willing to get ourselves outside of the comfort zone and being outside, man. And building a community is really important. There's so many veterans out there that become isolationists, become victims of their own prison, and they hold the key. Like, if you're struggling out there and you're looking to blame the world, everybody else, like, look inward. Like, take some time and reflect, and look, there are resources out there for you. It is a horrible thing to understand that we are the gatekeepers to our own health, to our own mental well-being. So right now, Stoke Therapy is based out of New England. How do individuals get in contact and get engaged with Stoke Therapy? How can we do? How do we make it a national movement? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean, we've only been a thing for about 4 months now, so it's slow going. We're about to have total IRS approval for 501c3 status right now. We just have that approval on a state level, but we're slowly getting there.
Yeah.
But in the
And
future,
it's such a huge process too. Like, I didn't
oh yeah,
realize, like, it is.
they don't make it easy, man. It's
They don't.
it's almost like they want us to pay taxes on everything. Wow.
It's like, hey, I've got a great idea that could bring lots of healing and great care to others. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to wait for 7-8 months. It's like,
Yeah, dude,
fuck,
it's
dude.
awesome. I love it. Thanks, guys. Um,
It's such a racket.
so we're waiting for that status to come through. It should be within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean, you know how the feds are, so that could actually mean a year, but uh, we'll see. So anyway, once we have that status, we're going to start outreach. Right now, we're focused just in New England, but
Yeah,
we already have a lot of people reaching out to us from around the country, actually wanting us to travel out to them and help them lead some efforts. So I
dude,
have really
that's where it's
no
at. That right
idea.
there.
Yeah. No idea where this road's going to take me, but I'm very confident that it's going to be helpful to a lot of people who need it, because this is everything that helped me out. You know what I mean? When I
Yeah,
was in that dark hole, this is what pulled me back out. So um, I think it's
yeah,
it's definitely going to be what a lot of people need.
yeah. And
Um,
it takes a lot of, like, courage and vulnerability to put yourself out there and say, like, hey, look, like, we're no different. We're really, all of us, regardless of MO. And that's the other thing that a lot of people have a fear around. It's like, well, I didn't serve in combat arms, or I wasn't some special ops guy. I didn't see as much as that person. It's like, look, listen, brother, sister, whatever you did, in whatever capacity you served, whatever you're going through, you deserve this program. You deserve to be part of a community. Don't limit yourself, or don't self-select because you feel that you didn't experience something catastrophic. Everybody has their own road. Everybody has their own journey. And we're gatekeeping ourselves. We're keeping ourselves from healing. And healing doesn't have to be conventionally what worked for me or what worked for you. It's really and truly, we have to understand that we're all different individuals. Freaking talk therapy works for me, but it might not always work for everybody. And this is a program that gives you the ability to explore something. I've never surfed, but from everything, one of my greatest, like, one of the films that I love and I think is like a work of art is Point Break. Not that bullshit remake,
yeah,
but the original. And it's that way of life. Like, and I'm not the only one. Like,
yeah, it's my
great
favorite.
great buddy that was on. Like, I've had him twice on the show. Shout out to Nick DLJ. He's built a whole company and a movement on the idea that it's not just one path. It's actually, when you look at both, like, and you merge them together, like, dude, being able to be out there, experience nature in such a, like, you're a small speck out in the water, and trying to ride something as insane as a wave. Like, I can only imagine and conceptualize in my head, like, holy shit, like getting on a board and riding a wave. Like, how powerful is that? Like, and it's a metaphor that can apply to all of our lives. Like, when I look back on my career, like, it wasn't like this steady state of wonderful things. It was a fucking wave. It really, like, the high peaks, like, yeah, fuck yeah. Then the fucking crashing wave, the lows, like, oh my God, I'm getting pulled under. And then you get washed ashore and you're like, oh, okay. You take a breath and you're like, all right, I'm ready to go back in. It's like, that's
Yeah.
life. That is the greatest thing you can give to somebody in that moment of like sheer helplessness. Like, man, I really want to get better. I can imagine, I can see it in my head, getting a veteran that's lost a lot of that a fight. They don't have to fight in them anymore. They saw this episode and like they reached out to you. I can see it in my mind somebody getting on that board with you, coaching them through and catching that wave and being able to ride a wave in and realizing like, wow, like my life's not that bad. Like, I want to live. I want to do better. I want to experience life, a fuller life. And it doesn't take just sitting in a therapist's office and talking. Like, sometimes being able to experience something as powerful as just being connected with yourself and nature, that's enough to give you that spark to ignite. And I think that's the other great thing that guys like you and I are trying to do. Like, yeah, we're not freaking psychologists yet. We're not like, I'm just a peer-to-peer support facilitator and I have lived experience, but I am trying desperately to spark that fire within somebody, whether it's through a video, whether it's through a podcast. I want somebody to hear these words and realize like, okay, I'm not out of the fight. I have a lot more to give. I have a lot more life to live. Like, dude, I don't want you to live a life of quiet desperation. I don't want you to live that life of coming home and thinking playing Starfield is as good as it's going to get. Like, it's not, dude. There's a better way out there. There's a better life out there for you. And I want you desperately to find it because, and it's not for the benefit of anybody else, it's the benefit of you. Like, if whoever's out there listening, maybe it's one person today, whoever it is, like, I want you to realize that you matter. You're worth saving. You are worth helping reach your your optimized goals, your full fulfillment of your dreams in life. And you can do it just by taking one step. And it could be as simple as engaging in a surf lesson with Gage here.
I feel terrible for everybody that went to the point of no return before they could experience catching a wave or climbing, or because I take vets at Stoke meetups, right? And when they
Yeah.
experience that for the first time, just the look that comes across their face of like almost relief, like a weight has been lifted because they have this new life experience and they realize like how impactful and incredible it is. Like, like you were saying earlier, I don't want to simplify things and just be like, yeah, surfing is all you need, dude. That's it. Like, but man, it helps so much. And there's so many experiences that you are missing if you just limit yourself to like, all right, I guess I'm getting drunk this weekend once again, or I'm just gonna stay at home and watch Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much out there. And that's
Dude.
what I'm trying to help people realize, man, is there's so much life to be lived.
Yeah.
Um, it
And I don't want to steal from Michael Easter. Comfort Crisis. Yeah, Michael Easter. I don't want to steal from his content, but his book, I mean, puts it out plain and simple. And I think it impacts, and it's especially resonates with any veteran out there. We are living and dying in comfort. We are living and dying in comfort. What I mean by that is we transition out. We don't have a plan. We fumble into a role and we stay in that role. And I always make a joke out of it. It's like, oh, you get a job working at the fucking cheesesteak factory and they pay you a decent amount of money and you're just out there fucking just hating your life. But you go home and you drink a 6-pack. Then it becomes a 12-pack. And then it becomes a fucking 6-pack, 12-pack, and maybe you handle a fucking old Jameson. And you're like, man, like, I fucking hate my life. But in this moment of comfort, I feel great. And you rinse and repeat and you rinse and repeat over and over until finally you can't fucking take it and you off yourself. I don't want that to be your life. I don't want anybody to live that life of just living in comfort, turning to Netflix, turning to Prime Video and just saying, yep, this is good enough. Let me grab my bag of Cheetos and this is it. This is my life. Fuck that. You served and lived through something like the GWAT. You deserve more than just sitting at home and dying a slow death of comfort. Be willing to challenge yourself. Be willing to engage in the discomfort of going for a walk, doing 2 miles. Okay, I can do 3. Now I'm going to do some body weight workouts. I'm going to feel my body come back alive, because there's a lot of us that get out and we never fucking feel that power anymore. We don't feel that power of moving heavy shit and working out and waking up early and being grumpy, just a little grumpy. Oh, fuck, I got to wake up at 4 to go do this run. But that's good for us. That's fucking great for us. We were not meant to live sedentary lives. Like, it'll fucking destroy you. I saw a meme the other day of a chair that was a coffin. I'm like, yep, that's exactly what it is. Like, we get this idea when we transition, if we don't have a plan, that we're going to just take whatever job that gives us the most money and just be happy with it. And then we're going to raise a family and then raise to have, little kids and never go outside, never experience the outdoors. And it's like, dude, that is a nightmare. That's the Twilight Zone episode that I feel we're all living in right now.
100%.
Lives of just being trapped indoors, sedentary. And it's like, oh my God, it's maddening. Why? Why do you do it? Because it's easy. It's easy to be docile. It's easy to just give up and say, yeah, I'm just going to watch TV. Fucking get rid of it. Fucking get rid of it. Cut the cord. Fucking run outside. Get some fresh air. Be willing to engage with the grander world out there. And hey, if you feel alone, reach out. Fuck. This is a horrible move. This is a horrible move. And I kind of do advise it. If you're willing and patient enough. My phone number is on my social media for Security Halt. And it's great because I've been able to help and people reach out. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, hey, dude, yeah, this is a great idea. This is what I recommend. I've had some crazies. I've had some crazy people that reach out. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I have no idea. Like, I cannot help you with this issue. But connect, reach out, be brave enough, be bold enough to reach out to your friends that you haven't talked to in forever. Be willing. If you can't get to New England to partake in Stoke Therapy, take a page out of Gage's book. Start connecting with yourself. Find a sport that you like to do. Like frisbee golf, anything at all, man.
Resources are out there, man. You just gotta have the courage to try and do something different.
Yes.
I think a lot of what society is doing and telling us is kind of what's screwing us up. Like, I think one of the biggest ones, one of the things we need to change is we are pushed so hard to chase happiness, chase happiness, chase happiness. And it's like, man, happiness is not something you can have at all times. That's not something, and even if you could, what would your life become? What would the value of your life be if you were just eternally happy, if that was all there was? So with Stoke, one of the things we try and push you to do is instead of happiness, you chase peace. And Stoke, the way I use the word, is it's almost synonymous with peace, right? If you can be at peace at any time in any situation, you can be at peace with it. And that's what I try and get people to chase instead of happiness. You can be at peace if you lose a loved one or you're having a rough time at work or anything else happens in your life. You can't be happy 24/7. And the longer you chase that and the longer you hope for that and dream about just being happy at all times, the further it's going to be out of your grasp. So I think the longer you chase peace, the better off you're going to be. And that's one of the biggest things that I try and put out there with Stoke.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think a lot of conversations out there that need to be changed in how we look at a lot of these situations. And I think the proof is in the pudding. I don't want to harp too long on the statistic and dwell too much on it, but it's like, man, the statistics haven't changed for our population. They haven't gone down. You know what I mean? We have to start trying to do different things and thinking about things differently. And that's what Stoke is trying to do is think outside of the box and give people longer term solutions. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
just a
I,
little.
I, I 100% agree with that. The other factor that I think is starting to become more embraced is the concept of gratitude. Like the idea that is spreading like being able to show gratitude on a daily basis or even the smallest things has a huge impact on your life and well-being, and it's measured. It's scientifically been measured. um, we go about our lives focusing on just exactly what you said: happy, how to be more happy. Well, I'm not happy, I need to take a pill. We see it with Xanax, we see it with a lot of SSRIs. Well, I'm not happy, there's something wrong, I'm not happy, why can't I be happy? Why? And we're chasing the idea of comfort and happiness in this loop, just constantly avoiding discomfort. And the biggest people that make money off of it, pharmaceutical companies, because it's a chemical reaction. We've been able to formulate medication that just keeps us feeling happy. We don't want our customers to feel discomfort. We don't want them to feel bad. We want to sell them the key to being happy, sell them the key to always being joyful. That's fucking horrible. We need bad days. Life's full of discomfort. Life's full of bad days. It's okay. It's gonna be okay, and that's resilience right there. Understanding that, like, shit, things are outside of my control are gonna happen today, but you know what? Like, I'm still gonna show gratitude. I'm still gonna realize that, man, like, okay, I keep putting an emphasis on everything that I can buy that will make me happy. But what if the idea and the reality is that I can't buy my way into happiness, but I can show gratitude for the things I have, and being grateful and kind and being able to share in common humanity, that in itself will make me feel better, will give me like a physical payout of feeling better than just worrying about being happy. Because that's that intrinsic like understanding of like, oh wow, like, okay, I control this. I can choose to be grateful for everything that I'm experiencing today, good and bad. Like, shit, I woke up today. Like, I went out, got a good workout. Maybe the workout was challenging and it sucked and it fucking made me like breathe hard and that didn't feel good, but I'm grateful for that. That made me a little bit better. And that concept is fucking, it's ridiculous to a lot of people. Like, I've made people that are just like, oh, fuck that. Why would you do that? That's stupid. I'm like, why would you sit at home and just eat? That in itself is crazy.
Yeah. The amount of people who call me a crazy person because I go surfing, like the amount of grown men who are afraid of the ocean. Number, I didn't realize how common that was. Just, oh, there's sharks. Like, all right, man, come on. Like, but the amount of people who call me crazy because I'm surfing and I'm rock climbing, I'm like, I think you're the crazy person because guess what? I am not. I'm at peace. Are you? Is that
Yeah.
is that a part of your life? Like, and like you're saying, gratitude. Like, I am grateful for all of this, and at the point that I'm at now with my self growth journey, like I am grateful looking in hindsight at all of the challenges that led me to this point. I wouldn't have been here. I couldn't have come up with Stoke. I couldn't be leading it and on this trajectory I'm on now if I didn't have as rocky of a road as I had in the past. So
Yeah.
gratitude is absolutely a part of that. And I think a big thing that I'm also trying to do with Stoke is with therapy, with medication, with these other ways that are like the mainstream method of working on mental health, like I guess you could if you had the money, but I don't think you want to go see your therapist every single day of the week if you could. I don't think you want to call them up if you could every single time you have a problem or you're feeling down. I don't think you want to get to the point where you are entirely dependent on medication for your happiness. Like you were just saying, if they sold you happiness in a pill, what would your life be like if you didn't take that pill without that dependence, without that crutch? So with Stoke, we're trying to give you these activities, these communities you can have for the rest of your life, dude. You can go surf the rest of your life if you have the courage, if you take the risk of going out there and learning how to do it. And the reward is boundless, in my opinion. You get so
Yeah.
much out of surfing, it's not even funny. And that could be an entire hour-long conversation if you wanted to have it right there. Just the benefits of surfing. You know, forget climbing, forget diving, the other stuff we do, like surfing alone. It's just life-changing. So I think a lot of these communities and a lot of these smaller scale nonprofits are where we're going to see a lot more of the change and a lot more of the growth and work that needs to be done in the community. Um, I have a couple buddies I'm working with. I don't know if they want me to name drop them right now, so I'm not gonna. But they are also leading smaller scale nonprofits and getting shit done. And I think we need to have a lot more. I don't say intestinal fortitude, but you know what I'm saying, integrity and courage to get out there and just try. Because
Yeah.
the amount of people that I see and encounter who are like, yeah, 22 push-ups a day, yeah, and it's like, all right, who is that actually helping, man? How about you
It is the
go?
dumbest fuck, and I'm sorry,
Yeah,
and I know it's very popular,
yeah,
and I'm gonna put on my Papa hat on and try to gently burst this bubble. The data shows that there's more than 22 a day.
yep,
Social media activism, putting a flag on your profile, filming yourself doing push-ups, doesn't do a single fucking thing. It will never do anything to address the issue. By connecting, by talking, by engaging with your friends, by not doing drinking hours, by not doing like, hey, let's meet up at the Bowers. No, call your friends. Set up a text chain. It can be, and I call it's an old term, LGOP, little groups of paratroopers. Make a text chain of 3 or 4 friends. Make the connection daily. Make the first thing you do in the morning, like, hey guys, I'm up. I love you. I hope you have a great day. Be willing, if you live close to each other, be willing to engage in an activity that doesn't involve drinking, because I get it. Not everybody has an alcohol problem, but guess what? It is the number one thing that is related to suicidal ideology, suicides, drug abuse, you name it. It is truly a harmful thing. It is. It's just bar none. You can do the research. Hey, pick up the next edition, digital edition of the debrief. I have a whole article on it. It'll be published here soon. But alcohol is something that will quickly derail you if you seek comfort with it. So don't engage with it. When you're meeting with your friends, choose to do an activity that's truly beneficial to all of you. And then be able to express gratitude for being together. Calling, staying in contact, truly being connected. That will do more for you and every other veteran out there than 22 a day. Hat back off. Now we're back.
no, 100%, dude. I'm on the same page because really, what is that actually getting done? You know what I mean? Who is that actually helping? And a lot of
It's
the
a
ways that we
feel-good
can,
campaign.
yeah, a lot of the ways we can go about actually helping each other and being our brothers and sisters keeper. It doesn't cost anything. Like you were saying, just
Yeah,
sending that group text. Me and my buddies with some of these other nonprofits, like we're gonna go do yard work at a Gold Star family's house. Like that doesn't cost us anything. I already have a damn rake. Just go do it. It doesn't cost
yeah,
you anything, man. So I think again, like a lot of this shit just has to come from within, and people just have to have the courage to go and do it. It doesn't cost us anything, and it helps you as well as the other person. It's not
yeah.
one way street. It's give and take. It's both ways, man. Um, so with Stoke, a big thing we're trying to do is just try and change the way people think and talk about a lot of these mental health principles. Because I think a lot of the things that are holding us back is just the way that people are established with a lot of these conversations in their head, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
with mental health, I think people only believe they should go see a counselor like if they have a problem, like, oh, i
Yeah,
have i have a mental health condition, I have a problem, I have a drinking problem. And it's like, no, dude, you can just go see a counselor because you want to be a better friend, a brother, a sister, a father, anything like that. And I don't think it should be restricted to when you're close to the edge. uh,
yeah.
and I think that's a kind of a societal problem because there is such a demand right now and there are so few mental health practitioners, but that's
Oh,
why I
it's a
think,
huge national issue,
yeah,
uh,
and that's why I
which is why
think,
peer-to-peer support is such in high demand.
yeah, and I was just gonna say stuff like what you're doing, stuff like Stoke, stuff like Patrol Base Abate, shout out, like a bunch of other groups. This is what needs to start happening from the community because nobody else is going to do it for us.
Yeah.
I hate to kind of keep bringing it back around to that, but like I just, man, it has
No,
to
it's
happen,
true.
dude. Yeah, 100%.
It's there's too many of us. And if you look at social movements and things in current events, and it's a hard pill to swallow, we're not a priority for the nation. And I understand, again, this is a very hard subject to talk about. I believe, and just like a lot of veterans and everybody that's served, we deserve the best care possible, but it's not available. There's too many of us. The system is overrun, and a lot of us are falling by the wayside. The way we address this, the way we can help stem the suicide issue and the alcohol and the drug abuse issue is by coming together and solving and creating avenues for healing. If you are suffering and you come to a peer-to-peer support session or you finally get help, now you're a powerful advocate for whatever worked for you. There's 22-0, there's Warrior Angels Foundation, there's tons of organizations out there that are willing to help you get better. So you get better. Now you become a sensor. Now you become somebody that can advocate and help others, and you can bring others to those resources to help too. We have to be willing to fight through this problem set together. That means that once you're able to walk on your own, once you're able to understand how you can heal and do better, you bring somebody else. You help somebody else get better. It truly is a grassroots movement. Look within your own community. Look within your own city. And there are vet centers everywhere. Try to get connected. Try to help those that are doing a little bit worse than you are. It only helps further develop your own progress. Like, I know that when I first started doing this, once I got to the point where I was walking and running on my own, being able to like, okay, I know what modalities work for me. If I would have just said, all right, cool, taking care of myself, like to me, that feels like a selfish fucking thing to do. So it's like, no, I'm going to help my friends. I'm going to reach out to my friends that I know are going through the same things as me. And then when they started working better, when they started running, it's like, okay, cool. What can we do to reach out to other people? And it's being able to have that national platform. It's like, dude, we're connected nowadays. And I know it's not the best thing, but we all know Zoom. We all know how to be online. Maybe it's through Twitch. We have a lot of veterans out there that are great gamers, and they do a lot of great stuff on Twitch, being able to talk and share while they're playing a video game. But that's one aspect of it. Now take it a notch. Get outside. Advocate for getting outside. And that's what I love about your program, Gage. That's what I think ultimately we need more of. Being able to do a grassroots movement like, hey, I'm never going to be that guy that goes out and surfs. That's not my thing. But, dude, I love hiking. I love being outdoors. I love being able to walk and enjoy nature. Get 2-3 people involved doing that, move that, or do a workout together. Dude, wherever you are in the States right now, if you're a veteran and you're listening to this, be willing to try to connect and bring others to do something that's not comfortable, that's hard, and gets you outside. And you got to realize, like, holy shit, this is a simple formula. And it has the potential to save lives. So do it.
Yeah, and guess what, man? Like the way you're feeling is not unique to you. Almost every other veteran that I've met that I've encountered when they got home, they missed that feeling of being in the unit or being on the team. And guess what? You can make that team. You can make a new unit for yourself at home with veterans and with first responders who are feeling the same way. It's all up to you. We have the tools, we have the resources. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Um, so anybody who's listening who feels like they need that in their life again, that they need some direction, like you can come together and make it happen for yourself. That's that's one of the biggest reasons why Stoke started. When I came home, I didn't have anybody to surf with, I didn't have anybody to climb with, and I wanted to have a feeling of that unit, that camaraderie again. Guess what? Now I have it. You can do the same thing. You just got to reach out and start making connections, helping people out. And it's not going to
Absolutely.
be, again, it's not going to be a one-way street. You're helping them out, they're helping you. You're both in the unit again. You're both together. You're both doing things together. You have that community. It's worth it. It's so worth
Yeah.
it, dude.
Dude, Gage, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. What's the website? Do we have a website launched yet?
Yeah, it's www.stoketherapy.org. Kind of working on the whole search engine thing so it pops up on Google easier, but we're on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, so we're out there.
Heck yeah,
Um,
man.
if anybody wants to, they're interested in the one-on-one, they might be out of the range for the group meetups. If you want a one-on-one session, you can hit me up on the phone. We can do Zoom, anything like that. So just let me know. I have schedules posted. You can just feel free to shoot me a message and I'll get back to you for sure.
Hell yeah. Gage, thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you for leading the way and charging with Stoke Therapy. And again, get out there, connect, and be willing to be able to live in a little bit of discomfort each and every day rather
Absolutely.
than chasing happiness. Till next time, take care.
Yeah, thanks for having me.